Hi, I'm Eric Siegel, and today I'm going to be reviewing and running the new 482 L-4b Mohawk steam engine from MTH. This engine is especially important to me because this is my first real steam engine, and by that I mean it's my first command-controlled, high-end, scale steam engine. Up until now I've been 100% diesel. So this engine's really special to me. It runs great, it looks great. I'm sure there are a couple differences between this model and the prototype. I'm really not going to pick nits about stuff like that. What I'm going to do is show you the features of the engine, let you hear some of the sounds, and then I'll run it around the layout for a minute. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to start at the front of the engine and just work my way back. The front's nicely detailed with separately applied number boards and placards, and they're all legible. There's a separately applied coupler cut bar that's real nice. These hoses are also separately applied. There's a dummy O-scale coupler on the front, and if you want, you can replace it with this dummy O-gauge coupler so that you can multi-unit the engine if you want to. Right here are these smoke deflectors, which are also called elephant ears, and these are separately packaged, and you put them on the engine once you take it out of the box. Now when I put these on, initially I was a little scared because on the back of these deflectors are metal U-clips, which clip directly onto the metal running boards. And with metal clipping onto metal, I was afraid I would scratch the running boards and damage the engine. But to my relief, when I put them on and then took them off, the running boards were not damaged, so that was nice. You can run the engine with or without them. Either way is prototypical, because when the engines were originally built, they didn't have the smoke deflectors, but the smoke became a problem for the engineers, and the engines were later retrofitted with these smoke deflectors. So you can run them either way. Personally, I like running it with the smoke deflectors off, but I wanted to put them on for this video. Towards the middle of the engine, you've got all the separately applied detailing you would expect on a high-end steam engine. All this piping has been separately applied, this nice shiny bell. You've got some hand-painted detailing up here. All the writing is legible. Behind these smoke deflectors are the builder's plates, and those are legible too. The running gear down here is really busy, and it looks really awesome when the engine is in operation, which you'll see in a minute. One thing I do like is that they've chemically darkened the running gear so that it's not looking so shiny and brand new, and that gives it a more realistic look. Back towards the cab, we've got more detailing, lots of separately applied detail piping down here. These windows, they do move, and they move both ways, so you can have the window open either way if you want, like that. These little windscreens move. Up on top of the cab, we've got 3 vents, and those all open. And then inside the cab, we've got 2 nicely detailed figures. The interior of the cab is nicely detailed. I'm going to shine a flashlight in there so you can see it a little better. There's a window on either side of the cab in the back, and those do have clear plastic in them. There's those nice cab figures. On the back head, you've got painted gauges and painted valves. And on the painted gauges, they've actually painted the needles as well. The firebox has a nice red firebox glow when the engine is in operation, and there's also a light above it that lights the interior of the cab when the engine is running. And then lastly, you've got this drop-down deck plate that bridges the gap between the locomotive and the tender. The tender is also very nicely done. There's lots of separately applied detailing everywhere. You've got a real coal load that gives it a nice prototypical look. The trucks are nicely done with these chains, and you'll notice on this tender that there is this piping that runs along the bottom, and there's some on the other side as well. That extra piping is packaged separately, and you have to attach it to the tender once you've taken it out of the box. Now the reason it's packaged separately is because if you put this piping on, the locomotive will not run on any track that has a radius of less than 0.72. So if you're running something like 0.54, you cannot put this on, or else it'll bind up with the trucks and you'll have problems. But if you're lucky enough to have a layout that has 0.72 or wider curves like I do, you can put this extra detailing on and you get a little more of a realistic look for your tender. So now I'm going to start this engine up. I'm going to play you some of the sounds, and then I'm going to run it around the layout.
Let's get her steam. We got a schedule to keep. Clean out the ash pan. Get some coal in there. Bring that spout over.
That's the startup sequence, and now I'm just going to play some of the random sounds that come with this thing.
Now departing for New York on track 2. Train number 2, the pacemaker.
This stop is Inglewood. This stop is Gary. This stop is South Bend. This stop is Toledo.
We're gonna need the standards for that steep grade. What was that? We're on the ground. Quick, jump the air. Are you okay?
That's the train wreck sound.
I think I swallowed a piece of coal.
That's a pretty funny one. If you can't hear what he's saying, he says, "I think I swallowed a piece of coal." I think it's pretty funny they always put some of these random sounds on here. You have to dig around to find them, but they're pretty funny.
I think I swallowed a piece of coal. Where am I? Must have been firing.
So that's some of the sounds.
Seems real good.
And now what I'll do is we'll pull out and run around the layout.
Tucker's giving us the highball signal.
I know that the freight cars the locomotive is carrying behind it are not quite in step with the steam era. I do have some steam era freight cars, but I just haven't taken them out of the boxes yet. One last sound I wanted to show you is the Quilba whistle, which MTH has added to their steam engines in the last year or two. It's a little tricky to use. I'm going to try to do my best, so here goes. And lastly, here's the shutdown sequence. Alright, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.